Help me please. I have inferiority complex. Welcome back, viewers. If you watched the previous video, you'll know that yesterday we explored what is inferiority complex. Today in part 2, we open up what causes inferiority complex. And in part 3, tomorrow, we'll look at how to overcome your inferiority complex. Would you like an ongoing supply of essential news, helpful resources, and 100% free reports and advice for business people and leaders? Just take a quick moment to click on the subscribe button, and I promise you'll never have to miss out again. What causes inferiority complex? There is no single cause. Research suggests that the characteristics associated with chronic low self-esteem come from a combination of factors and are likely rooted in perceived childhood and adulthood deficiencies that affect a person over their lifetime. Here are 5 well-researched and evidenced factors which do contribute to chronic low self-esteem. Genetics, physical, social, cultural, childhood. Let's look at each of these a little to see how they each contribute. Number 1, genetic predisposition. Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences reported on a study which found that people who inherited a variation in the receptor for oxytocin, that's a hormone that contributes to positive emotions, felt less optimistic, had lower self-esteem, and felt less personal mastery than people who inherited a different type of receptor for oxytocin. Number 2, physical challenges. Those among us who have physical deficits are more susceptible to develop chronic low self-esteem. Examples include people who have issues with their facial features, body features, their weight, their height, vision, speech impediments, hair color, physical coordination, and strength. In fact, the Napoleon syndrome is named for the example of how Napoleon Bonaparte developed an inferiority complex because of a physical characteristic, his height. Number 3, cultural. Every day, we are bombarded with idealized and unrealistic portrayals by advertisers, influencers, social media, celebrities, and others, which cultivate and curate a cultural norm that can create and reinforce comparative perceptions by yourself about yourself, which lead to huge self-doubt. It's a proven fact that when we are bombarded with messages about what shape, size, and color our body should be in order to be attractive, and how we should act and what we should purchase or own, we take that messaging on board. We internalize it, and then so much of our belief of who we are and our value is diminished. Number 4, social disadvantages. For every person held up as an example of overcoming a social disadvantage, there are hundreds of examples of people who are unable to rise above the feelings of inadequacy they develop. People born into low socioeconomic status may be more likely to develop an inferiority complex and find themselves stuck in that status despite tremendous efforts to address and grow out of that. Number 5, childhood. Children who constantly have been exposed to disapproving comments about their abilities or their behaviors are more likely to develop negative beliefs about themselves. The same can happen to adults who are in a relationship or in a workplace where the same type of criticism is part of their daily experience. Other instances that can have a significant impact include teasing, bullying, sibling rivalry, and high levels of peer pressure. The behavior of many adults is predicated by the fact that when they were young, They were constantly told things like, you never do anything right. You're stupid. You're too slow. You're not as smart as your brother, your sister, your cousin. When you are a child, young and impressionable, and receive constant criticism, it leads to you feeling ashamed, shy, worthless, and powerless. Unfortunately, these children come to believe that there is something fundamentally wrong with them and their self-esteem is significantly damaged. Take a deep breath. So that's how chronic low self-esteem is built. It is built. You're not born with it. We know that people who have chronic low self-esteem often compare themselves with others. And when they do so, they habitually compare themselves only to the most successful people, thereby reinforcing the false programming they have received. So now we've covered off what is inferiority complex and what causes inferiority complex. Thanks for watching and listening. Join us tomorrow for part 3, where we discuss how to overcome your inferiority complex.